again, and welcome to today's show. Today we're going to be working on some chicken and waffles. Okay, so I don't know about you, but when I was growing up, one of the things that I was always told was cooking is the way to a man's heart. So it was really important to know how to not just throw something together, but to be a good cook, right? Everybody wants to eat good food. Today, everyone's a foodie and we're eating all types of food, but the most important thing is that the food tastes good. So today, we're gonna work on chicken and waffles, and with that in mind. So when you're making waffles, you wanna make sure, it doesn't matter what brand of mix you use. What matters is that you don't get a complete. As you can see here, I use Hungry Jack, I use pearl milling, I'll use any different type of pancake or waffle mix, but the one thing they will always have in common is they are not complete. You have to add eggs, add milk, oil, and egg. This one's same. You're gonna add, on the back, you have to add the mix, milk, oil, and egg, okay? So that makes a big difference in how it tastes, right? The less processed foods are, the things that you use are, the better the taste is gonna be. So another thing that's really important when you're making waffles is that you have a waffle maker. It doesn't matter what kind of waffle maker. It could be a square, round, Belgium, or whatever, but it has to be a waffle maker, okay? Can't make waffles without a waffle maker, without a waffle iron. I'm gonna use the pearl milling because it's already open. Okay, so we're just gonna take that and I'm gonna use this plastic container. The reason I'm using this plastic container is because it's square, so it has points which will serve really well as a spout when you're pouring it out. It'll keep it concentrated, and you can guide where you're pouring it better, as opposed to if you use something round, the batter can spread out more and just kind of get all over the place and be kind of messy. So for this, it tells you use 1 cup of dry mix per egg, right? This is a half a cup. Actually, this is 2/3 of a cup. So I'm gonna use 2 of these. So that's gonna be about 1.5 cups. And I'm going to do 1 egg. Again, I'm only using 1 egg because it's a jumbo. So we crack this egg. You can crack it on the side. I don't like to crack it on the countertop. Next, I'm gonna add milk. So as you can see, I use lactose-free whole milk. Okay, that's just because we are lactose intolerant, and it just doesn't affect our bodies badly. You can use regular whole milk. You can use 2%, 3%, whatever you want. The one thing with the milk, when you're adding milk, you don't want to put a whole lot of milk. You want to have a thicker batter. Okay, when you're making pancakes, you might have a little bit thinner batter, but when you're making waffles, you want to have a thicker batter. So this is 2/3. I'm just going to use like half of this. Half of it, I'm going to pour that in for starters. If I need more, you can always add more if you need more. So don't forget that. But you want to start with that, and so you want to start with that, and let's see how that goes. And just stir it up really good. Make sure when you're stirring it, you get everything, right? And that's how you know when you don't have enough milk, because it's not going to be liquefied. You're going to have it, see, this is I don't have enough milk. So now we're gonna do another half. So this is almost 2/3 cup. Okay. So now here we go. It's moving more freely, and the chunks of, I don't have any chunks. I'm not gonna forget that you have to add butter, right? You can add butter, add margarine, but you're gonna add something else. So, you have to keep that in mind when you're making your batter, right? Because if you don't, like I added the milk and now I make it to the complete texture of the desired texture, and then I have to add something else, then it's not gonna be desired texture anymore, right? So this is good, it's nice and thick, but it's not 100% perfect. It's a little bit thicker than, just a tiny bit thicker than I want, but it's good. Okay, so let's see the pour test. Yeah, this is good for this is good for waffles. See, it's not thick and clumpy, but it's not like watery either. It's not really watery either. You gotta, when you're stirring it, you should feel it when you're stirring it. You should feel like you're just waving the spoon through the water. So now you're gonna add, I use Smart Balance. So this is supports healthy cholesterol levels. So whenever I cook, I try to make sure that it is as healthy as possible. So I'm gonna scoop it up with my spoon actually, and I'm gonna add this amount. I'm gonna add like a spoonful. This is a teaspoon. You can add about a tablespoonful of it. And I'm just gonna chop it up in there, just kind of mesh it up in there so that it's soft already. So it's gonna blend in there pretty well. It's not gonna be all chunky and stuff like that. You just wanna stir it and smash it. Just kind of smash it around in there. So there's absolutely not chunks, right? It could be like little things, but nothing like really just big clumps, right? It doesn't have to be perfectly smooth because it's butter. So now that we have that made, we can just let that sit on the side. That's perfectly fine. And we're gonna work on our chicken. So I don't eat meat. Because I don't eat meat, I'm also making, for myself, I'm gonna make a mushroom. This is a mushroom that's been sitting, that was frozen with chicken seasonings on it so that it can taste like chicken. And this is chicken cutlet, and I'm gonna make a chicken cutlet for my husband because he does eat meat. And I'm going to make the mushroom for myself. Right? This is how we both get to enjoy the same meal, but in respect to our diets. So I'm gonna take this chicken cutlet, open that back up. So I bought this fresh this morning. Because like I said, I like to have my food as fresh as possible. I'm gonna open it up. I'm gonna take out one chicken cutlet, and then I'm gonna just wrap the rest up. You absolutely rinse all your food off, right? All of your meats have to be rinsed off. I'm gonna take a quick towel and just pat it dry a little bit. I'm gonna take a Ziploc bag. I like to use Ziploc bags because it helps me control how much seasoning I use, because I can use too much seasonings and just have a lot left, and that just is a waste. So I never reuse it. Once I season it, I throw the rest of it away. So this helps keep me from using too much. So regular white all-purpose flour is bleached. That's why it's white. So we want to stay away from all chemicals and craziness, right? We want to eat healthier. So I'm going to take my Ziploc bag and I'm going to take a scoop. Now I only have one chicken cutlet, so there's no way in the world that I need a whole scoop. This is 2/3 cup. I don't need 2/3 cup. I'm using half of that. That's more than I even need. So in fact, I'm just scoop some of that out. Because that's scooping half of that out, right? Because you don't really, this is enough, right? For that chicken cutlet, this little bit is enough. So this is that. Now I'm going to add some onion powder, right? I'm just gonna give one shake, make 2 shakes. Just gonna sprinkle some onion powder in. I'm going to sprinkle in a little, see, this is smoked paprika. Smoked paprika definitely has some totally different taste, right? Use some smoked paprika. This is Tony's original Creole seasoning. We're gonna use some Tony. Give him 2 shakes in here, maybe 3. Adobo, I would definitely go to all the time. Adobo. A few shakes of adobo. Take it easy with the adobo. Now, adobo adds, and again, I don't add salt. I will add pepper, but I don't add salt because adobo has a certain amount of salt to it, and you know you have to be careful with your salt content because it's very easy for things to come out too salty, and it's better to salt it after it's cooked if it's not enough than to have too much salt in there, and because you just can't take it out after it's cooked. So pepper, 2-3 shakes, and I'm gonna add some sage. 2 or 3 shakes. Now it's important that you see the ingredients. I can say, like I said, if you see it in there, and I'm gonna give you a closer look, you can see all the ingredients in there, right? And when I shake it up, it's not that white flour anymore. It's got color to it, right? So I know it has flavor to it. So I'm just hit this. I'm gonna add my chicken cutlet. Again, this chicken cutlet is still thick, right? I'm not adding an egg, just putting it in the flour. I'm gonna shake it. Shake, 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 shake. What I like to do is I like to shake it, and then I'm gonna try to flatten it out some and sprinkle some of the flour back on it and kind of smash it. Smash it, not to make it tender. I'm not tenderizing it. I'm smashing it because I want the flavor to go in. You know, I'm pushing it into the meat. Pushing the flavor into the meat. I want to apologize. I know I sound nasally. You know, it's got this head thing going on here, sinus thing going on. So, but we're gonna flip it over. We'll do it a couple times. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to, now I have my waffle iron on minimum. So I'm just gonna turn it up to midway. And you wanna, right, it's been on and it's not waiting for the waffles, right? So I'm gonna add some oil. I'm gonna add some oil in the waffle iron, margarine. That's just gonna help the flavor come out. Just have it, you know, help us to have more of a buttery flavor, right? So you don't want to put a lot. I usually put about this much on there. Fell off. Okay, so, and I'll just rub it around, make sure all touches. And just on the bottom, tends to, my personal waffle iron just tends to, if it's gonna stick, it's gonna stick on the bottom, not the top. Now I have oil. I have enough oil. I'm not deep frying, but it's enough to cover the bottom completely. Look, a little bit up on the sides, but it's not enough to really deep fry. We're not gonna do a real deep fry. Now I'm gonna put this one low. Okay, so now I'm gonna start making my waffles. right? So I'm just gonna pour the waffle into the waffle iron right in the middle. And I'm not gonna fill it up. I'm not gonna fill it up. I'm just gonna pour some in the middle. And that's because once I close it, it's gonna spread that waffle mix around. And it's gonna expand. And if you pour too much in, it'll start coming out the sides. Kentucky Colonel, this is Kentucky Colonel chicken seasoning. And the reason I'm using this is because I'm making my mushroom, and the mushroom has already been sauteed, right? It's been sitting in, not sauteed, it's already been marinated, right? So it's been sitting in seasonings, and it doesn't need much. But in this seasoning, it's pretty mild, tends to be pretty mild, but at the same time, and I would always add seasonings to it, but since my mushroom was already seasoned, it'll go perfectly with this chicken flour. This is like a chicken flour. So I'm gonna put my chicken flour in here. I'm only gonna, this is 1 tablespoon. I'm gonna do, I really only need 1 tablespoon. That'll be good enough. 1 tablespoon, no extra seasonings. And I'm just gonna take this out of here. And it's wet from the seasonings, and that's perfect because this, again, you want it to be wet, right? This calls for like your food to have some dampness to it so that it can soak up the flour, the chicken flour. Okay. Now this, as you can see, has soaked up some of the flour, but that little bit wasn't quite enough, so we're gonna add just another tablespoon because we want to make sure the seasoning gets into flouring gets into every nook and cranny. Like you want it to be completely, let it soak it up. More of that, because that's just gonna add to the crispiness. Right. So now I smell the oil. Slightly waffle is ready. So we're going to let the waffle suck on top this time. Nice crisp waffle. Have 1 waffle. Take that out, and we're gonna take this 1 waffle out. Oh, oops. Nice and crispy. Waffle's nice and crispy. Just comes right apart. It smells delicious. So we're going to put our chicken in. See, that's nice and floury. Woo! That oil is nice and hot. That chicken is just frying up, sizzling up. We're gonna do another waffle. Chicken cutlets, like that, chicken cutlet cooks fast. So we're gonna do another waffle because people like to have more than 1 waffle. Ready? Over. Okay. Alright, so this is what chicken looks like. Slightly golden brown on both sides. Right? Golden brown. On the other side. And when it gets to this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out and put it right back into the flour. So this is a double flour. I'm going to put it right back and shake it up. Believe it or not, if you move it around fast enough in this Ziploc bag with this flour, now waffle, woo! We have waffle out. The waffle is looking gorgeous. Wow! Take that waffle out. So I'm just going to pull that out. Woo! Nice and hot. Great. Good. It's almost ready. The bag is not melted. So we take it out. And woo! The waffles are ready. And chicken, again, since it's a chicken cutlet, it doesn't take as long to cook. So you're really looking for, you know, the color to be right. Once the color is right, because it's already been cooked halfway, I'm gonna flip it over. Look at that color. Color's good on that. So I'm gonna turn this chicken. I'm gonna let it cook twice on both sides, and then it's gonna be ready. So now our chicken is ready. We put it on our waffles, and we're gonna have the man in the house come and give that a try.
Okay.
This is my husband, Ken. So we're gonna have Ken tell you.
All right. Let's try this out here.
Now his
Let's see
chicken
here.
and waffle.
Get my syrup. About to do like Guy Fieri. Seasoning on the chicken was fantastic, crunchy. They have the crunch, even with the syrup on it, and the waffles are dynamite. Fantastic. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so now we're going to make my waffle and chicken, right? Mine is gonna be from the mushroom. So we're gonna take a pot, since the mushroom is small, since our mushroom is smaller, I'm gonna take a smaller pot. And we're gonna put the same oil in the pot. We're gonna just fry up this mushroom, you know, pretty much the same way we fried up the chicken, right? Because that's my chicken. So I put the, you know, again, not enough oil to deep fry it, right? So just enough pretty much to cover the bottom, just a little bit up from the bottom. And we shook the mushroom enough to make sure that the mushroom, all right. So I shook it up. If your mushroom is looking like this, you need more flour. It has to be completely covered with flour. So we're going to, it should be, and it shouldn't stick to your hands. It's important that it's free. It flows free. It's not sticky. It's not sticky. So I'm just gonna take it out and just pour it up. So I'm gonna do a big heap of it because you have to make sure it takes the flour. So the Ziploc bag is moist, so that's also taking up some of the flour, which is also why it doesn't, it didn't really cover the mushroom completely. But here we go. Here we go. Now here's what the mushroom should look like. See? Okay, so we're gonna just fan that mushroom out, and you know, we're gonna spread it out. Make sure it's completely spread out, and we're gonna put it in the flour. Put it in the flour so it can fry. The mushroom is a lot thinner than the chicken cutlet, and you don't want it to get too hard and crunchy, because then it won't have like any kind of substance to it. So we're gonna put on our waffle. Put that right in the middle. Waffle mix. Good to go. Come down. Turn this mushroom over. Look at that. Ooh. Looky there. Looky there. Okay, so here's what our mushroom looks like. That's done. That's all we need. I'm gonna add it to my, I'm I'm gonna add it to my waffle, and I'm gonna add my syrup. Ooh, it's got a sizzle. Wow. Let's give that a try. The waffle's nice and the waffle's nice and soft. The mushroom is crispy. Mushroom taste. The sweet and the salty, not like real salty, but that bit of salt went in the seasonings that were put into the seasonings went into the mushroom really well. Tastes delicious. The waffle's perfect. It's crispy enough. It's cooked well, but not hard. This is really delicious. So, thank you so much for joining us today, and hope you try this recipe. You have a fantastic breakfast, and bon appetit. All right, that's that. This is it. Okay guys, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed what we made today. If you do try to make this breakfast, let me know in the comments how it turns out for you. And don't forget to like, share, and smash that subscribe button.